we are going to be drafting this blazer pattern. Okay, we'll be drafting the sleeves and the trouser later, but right now we'll be drafting the blazer. Okay, so first of all, we are going to be starting with the back pattern. There is no particular measurement for this, or if you can use 2 inches or 1 inch for starting point, it's okay. So this is my starting point. You can also call it shoulder line. So I'll be starting all my measurements from here. So first of all, we are going to get our bust length. And my bust length, I normally divide my angle. My angle is 15. So my bust length now, I'm going to divide this angle by 2 to give me 8 inches. Okay, I'll divide 16. This is my angle, round angle measurement is 16. So if I divide it by 2, it's going to give me, it's going to give me 8 inches. So it's the 8 inches that I'll be marking here as my bust line. After that, I'm going to be marking my waist length. My back waist is different from my front waist. So in my front, I'll be using 17, but right here, I'll be using 16 inches. Okay, I'll be using 16 inches. If it's normal straight cut or normal tight dress, I would have used 15 because 15 is my normal back length. But here, we are drafting blazer, right? So I'll be using 16 inches as my back waist length. So I'll be marking 16 right here. So I'll be marking my 16 right here. After that, we are going to get our hip measurement. I normally use 9 inches to get my hip length. Okay, that 9 inches is standard. But if you are short or if you are taller, if you are shorter, you can use 8 inches. Or if you are taller or if your client is tall, you can use 10 inches. So I'll be marking my 9 inches here. The length of this blazer that I'm drafting right now will be, okay, the length will be 24. I'll be using 24 as the length of this blazer. So there is no need to mark this my hip length. Okay, the length is 24. So this 24 will serve as my hip. Line, and I'll be adding 1 inch folding allowance. So let's just say it's 25. So I'll be marking my 25. The length of my blazer is 24, and I added 1 inch, making it 25 for my sewing allowance. Okay, so this is where, so I will still mark the same thing that I marked here, this place, so that I will get a straight line if I want to do it. So I marked 8, right? I marked 8, and I marked 16, and my full length, I'll be marking 25. Okay, 25. So I'll be ruling my lines now. The reason why we are drafting the back first is because we'll be needing the back neck measurement to grab the front. So the next thing that I'll be marking right now is my chest line measurement. Okay, my chest line measurement, I'm just going to come up. I'll come up by 1 inch. If I come up by 1 inch, it's going to give me my chest line measurement. You can call it across chest. Okay, across chest. So from this 8 inches, which is my bust line, I come up by 1 inch to get my chest line measurement. So right now, I'm going to level it. This is my chest line or across chest. Then this one is my bust line measurement. This one is my waistline. This one is my full length or hip line. You can call it full length or hip line. Okay. Then the next thing we are going to be doing right now is to measure our shoulder. Okay, we are going to measure our shoulder right here. Okay, our shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. 16 divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So I've marked my 8 inches. I'm still going to mark this right here. 8 inches. So the next thing I'll do right now is to use my stress ruler and connect it just like this. Then after that, the next thing we'll be doing is to get our neckline measurements and shoulder slants. Okay, this is the back, right? So I'll be marking my shoulder slants up instead. Okay, I'll be marking it up. So first of all, let's get our neck. So now I'll be marking my length, my neck width. So the measurement for the round neck is 3. 3 is the standard measurement for the round neck, right? 3 for the width. 3 for the width of your neck. Then I normally put down by 1. Instead of 1.5 inch, 1.5 inches here, I come down by 1 as my back neck depth. I come down by 1 inch, as my neck depth. So after that, you can use. Then let's do our shoulder slants. Okay? The shoulder slants, I'll just come up here by 1/2 inch. I'll come up here by 1/2 inch. You see, this is one of the reasons why I left this as 1 inch. So when you measure it now from this shoulder slant, it will give you 1.5. It will give you 1.5 inches. So you are going to connect your shoulder slant. First of all, connect your shoulder slant. Then you can use your curve ruler and mark your 1.5 inch, then connect it with your line. Okay? So this is it. This is our neck. Our back neck. I just use 1.5. I use my curve ruler to connect it. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to enter our measurements. Okay? Now we are going to enter our measurements. The next thing you'll be doing right now is to get your bust measurements. Okay, my bust measurement is 44. 44 divided by 4. You're going to divide your bust measurement, that is your bust circumference by 4. So 44 divided by 4 is going to give me 11 inches, right? So this is where I'm marking my 11 inches. After that, you come to the waist. My waist circumference is 30. My waist circumference is 36. So 36 divided by 4 is giving me 9, right? After that, you come down to the hip or your toe length. So my bust circumference is 40. It's 40, not my bust circumference is 40, not 44, okay? My bust circumference is 40 divided by 4 will give me 10. Okay? So my bust circumference is 40 divided by 4 will give me 10. 40 divided by 4. You divide all your measurements, all your round circumference, all your circumference by 4 inches. Okay? So my round bust divided by 4 will give me 10. That is 40 divided by 4 will give me 10. Then after that, it comes to the waist. My round waist is 36. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. And this is what I marked here. I marked 9 inches here. And I marked 10 inches here. And here is my hip. Or full length. My hip is 44 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 11 inches. Okay, you can decide to add your allowance here. This is blazer, so you don't really need too much allowance. So I'll be adding 1 inch allowance throughout. So here I will mark 1 inch. Here I'll mark 1 inch allowance. Here again I'll mark 1 inch allowance. Okay, so we are almost done with the back. So by the way, we are not done with the armhole. So we are going to cut our armhole now. First of all, we are going to divide this your armhole length. You divide this your armhole length by 2 inches. 8 divided by 2 will give you 4. You mark the 4 just to get the center line of this armhole. So after you mark the center line, you still come to the back and mark 0.5 inch. Okay? You mark 0.5 inch. Okay? After that, you are going to connect your armhole line. Okay? Let's first of all connect the first line. Okay, so that it will not be that difficult for you. So you first connect the first line, then we are going to connect the main curve. Okay, this is my main curve. Okay, this is my ankle. So we are done with ankle. So we are going to connect this our shaping line right now. Okay. So we first connect the main line. You know the other one is the allowance. We first connect the main line. This is the main line. You can use another color of marker and connect allowance. If you're a beginner, you can decide to use 2 inches as your allowance, but normally you don't need so much allowance in your blazer, okay? Just 1 inch is okay for your blazer allowance. So right now we're almost done with our pattern, with our back pattern. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to come here. I'm going to come up here by 3 inches just to make our our folding line curvy. We will make it curve in this place, okay? So I'm going to use my old ruler to curve. So let's use it this way. So this is how the down of our blazer will look like. Okay, this is our back, right? So the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to mark our tags. It is very important. In some places, they don't put that, but if you want your blazer to be very beautiful and look very professional, you will put that, right? So my nipple to nipple is 8 inches. So if you divide it by 2, it will give you 4. That's what you use to mark your that line. Okay, your nipple to nipple. Okay, then I come up here. I'm going to come up here by I'll come up here, I'll come down by 6 inches. This is where my dart will reach. I'll still come up by 6 inches. That's where my dart will reach. So I'll make sure that my 4 inches, which is nipple divided by nipple point, or nipple to nipple divided by 2, will give you 4 inches. That's the 4 inches is what you're going to use as your dart line. So I'll make sure that I extend my 4 inches to the line where the dart is going to reach. So I'm going to rule my line this way. You can just decide to connect your darts reach here, but you're going to cut through. So your darts reach here. Okay. So after that, I'll be using 0.5 to mark my darts. 0.5 inch as my dart leg. You can call it dart leg. 0.5 is 0.5 inch. After that, you are going to be connecting. So this is where we mark our 6 inches. You are going to mark your dart to that point, connect your dart to this point. So this is your dart, right? So you extend this line, just like I have done. You extend it to this hip line because you are going to cut through. So the next thing you are going to do, from this place that you divided your angle into 2, you are going to connect, okay? You are going to connect this to this dart using curved ruler. Connect it in such a way that this place will not budge after sewing it. Don't use this curvy, very curvy shape to curve it. You can use this side to connect your back dart to your ankle. So I've connected my dart, but make sure that it's not going to be very curvy again. So you blend it very well. So this is how my back dart is looking. So I think we are done with this back pattern. Okay, we are done with the back pattern. So the only thing that we do now is to cut this pattern. So if you are cutting, I'm cutting through this allowance, but I'm not cutting right now. So after you are done wrapping your back pattern, you measure your round leg because you'll be using it. You'll be making use of this when drafting your front. So I'm getting, okay, let me measure again. I'm getting 3.5. I'm getting 3.5 inches here. So our back pattern is ready, right? Our back pattern is ready. If you are cutting this in 2, you are cutting this in 2. Okay? Alright. So before you mark your front pattern, before you start dropping your front pattern, before you mark your starting point, so you are going to leave 5 inches. Normally you should leave 4 inches, but I'm just leaving 5 inches in case I need extra allowance for the hole. So I'm marking my 5 inches throughout. So I'm going to connect the line using using a straight ruler. Make sure that your line is straight, okay? I'm making sure that my line is straight. On this side, this place, I'm going to be leaving 2 inches. No, I'll be leaving 1.5 inch. I'll be leaving 1.5 inch here. So I decide to leave 2 inches or 1 inch, depending on how you want your button to overlap. Okay? Well, I'm leaving 2 inches. I mean 1.5 inch because after sewing with half inch, it will remain the 1 inch. So I think 1 inch or 1.5 inches is okay for you. So I'm going to connect my straight line right now. So this is where all my measurements will be starting from. This is where all my measurements, this is my line, they are not even straight. Oh my God. So this is where all my line will be starting from. So let's start by measuring our bust line. Remember what we use in back pattern as our bust length is 8 inches. Armhole divided by 2, right? My armhole is 16 divided by 2. It gives me 8 inches. So I'm still going to be marking the same thing. Okay? I'm still going to be marking the same thing. The next line I'll be marking here is my underbust. My underbust is 14, so I mark my underbust right here. Then the next line I'll be marking here is my waistline. Remember that I showed you that I'll be using 17 inches as my front waistline. Remember I used 16 in my back waistline. So right here I'm using 17 as my front waistline. So I mark the 17. Then the next line I'll be marking is my full length. Remember that I told you that the full length, I want my full length to be 14, but I added 1 inch sewing and I was making it 25. So I'll be marking this 25 right here. Okay? So all the lines that I marked here, I'll be marking it here again so that I'll be able to get my straight line. Okay? So I marked it, then my underbust, which is 14, I mark my half length, which is 17. Then the next thing that I'll be marking is my full length, which is 25. So I'm going to be connecting it with my straight ruler. I'll be connecting my lines with my straight ruler. I'll be connecting with my straight ruler. So I'm doing the simple pattern, and I show you that this simple pattern you are making is still going to give you the exact result that you have in mind. If you want us to follow this step, it's going to give you a better result. Okay, so let me level my lines. This is my bust line, right? And this is my under bust line, and this is my waistline, and this is my hip line or full length. I'm not at full length, okay? Or hip. We are going to be entering your hip here, so you can mark it hip line. And level it hip line. So here, so remember I just come up here in the back pattern. I came up here by 1 inch as my chest line. I'm still coming up here by 1 inch as my chest line. So this is I will level this as my chest line, right? Just 1 inch. So I level this as my chest line. I'll call it a cross chest measurement. So we are done with our horizontal line, chest line, bust line, under bust line, waistline, and hip line, right? Okay, so the next thing that we are going to be doing right now is to mark our neckline, right? Let's mark our shoulder line. Yeah. So we are going to be marking our shoulder line right now. So if you come to this place, my shoulder line, which I said is 15 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'll be marking my 8 inches right here. Okay? and I'll also mark the 8 inches right here. So I'm going to connect this line together. I'm be connecting the points together just like this. Okay, so this is it. Then we're going to be marking our neckline here. Remember, we used 3 inches at our neck depth for the back, so we are still going to be marking the 3 inches at the neck depth for the front. Then after that, you mark sorry, for your neck width, we use 3 inches for the back, so we are still using 3 inches for the front. So the neck depth, the neck depth, we are going to mark, we're going to be using, yeah, 3 inches is okay for our neck depth, for the front neck depth. So we are going to make sure that your line is straight, okay? So we are going to connect this point in a block form just this way. After you've marked it this way, you are going to come up by half inch. Remember, we came up by half inch as our shoulder slant for the back. So I take him up by the same half inch here, right? Then I'm going to connect this way. I'm going to connect this way. And after that, I will use my curve ruler and connect. So now this is our front. This is our front pattern. So it's coming together. So but let's leave here first. Let's complete the body. Okay. So I'll be entering my round measurement. Okay. My bust is 40 divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. Then my waist divided by 4, which is my waist is 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inches. And when you come up here, my hip is 44 divided by 4 inches will give me 11 inches. So after that, I'm going to connect these 2 points, 3 points. Okay, this is my shaping line, right? I'll be connecting. So remember that we added just 1 inch allowance for the back. So I'm still going to be adding my 1 inch allowance. Okay, you can decide to add 1.5, but I'm adding just 1 inch because I don't need any allowance for this. Too much allowance for this, okay? Because all the sewing will be inside, and you will not want too much allowance to be bulging out of your blazer. So 1 inch is just okay. So after that, we are going to mark our armhole line. Before that, you divide your armhole line, this line, into two, which will give us 4 inches. Then you come up by here, you come out by half inch. Half inch will be you're going to be connecting this way. So this is my armhole. I just use the free hand and extend it this way. Okay, this is our armhole. Our neck is ready, our armhole is ready, our shaping line is ready. The next thing we are going to be doing is to mark our dart. Your dart line, you determine your dart line with your nipple to nipple measurement. My own nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inches. So that 4 inches is what I'll be marking here. Okay, yeah, that 4 inches is what I'll be marking here. And from your waistline, you come down by 6 inches. Towards your hip line, come down by 6 inches. But to determine where your dart is going to reach, you have to first determine your nipple point, right? You have to first determine your nipple point, which I do by dividing the distance between underballs and chest line. The distance between underballs and my chest line is 7. So if you divide it into 2 like this, it's going to give you 3.5. So I mark this 3.5. This is where my dart is going to extend to. So this is, alright? So right here, this is where I'll be marking my dart. So I'll use the same 0.5 inch, just like I use at the front and the back. And let me mark my 4 inches there again to get my straight line correctly. So I'm still going to be using my 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 for as my dart length. So I'll be connecting this way. Still connect it this way. Connect it from here. Then from here. Then my dart is ready. Remember, you will need to connect it down to your, because you will be cutting through, right? So you will connect just your straight line to your full length. But remember, we came up by, yeah, we came up by 3 inches for the back. So we are still coming up to that 3 inches here, so that we will be able to cut our line this way. So this is here, this is our folding line or our blazer edge. The down is we give us this shape, okay? Not this shape. We want it to be like this, not like this. Yeah. Then from here now we are going to be connecting your dart. You will connect your dart. You will connect your dart to this place. Okay? Remember this that 4 inches, like this line divided by 2, you mark 4 inches. This is where you will connect your dart to. This is where you connect your dart to. Okay? So this is our dart line. So remember I marked my nipple point. If I do not go it to label it, I need to mark this is my nipple point. So I need to mark level it, my nipple line, there. So let's come to the blazer part, to the collar part. So this is where we are going to be entering our back neck. Remember I measured my back length, my back neck. This is my back neck. I measured my back neck. Another thing that I need to show you here is that in blazer, if you look at the shoulder is somehow extended outside the shoulder a bit, so that when you put your shoulder pad, it's going to give it that shape in that blazer. So I'm going to come out here just by half inch. Half inch should be okay. And here too, this line, I will come out here by 1 inch. So that if I sew this place, it's not going to give me shortage. This is just allowance for this line. So I'm going to be connecting. I'm going to be connecting using my cord rule. So I'll connect this way. Okay? I'll connect this way. So this is for the back, right? Then I'm going to measure this. I'll measure my back neck, which is giving me what? It's giving me 3.6. It's giving me 3.6, right? So I'm going to come here and mark my 3.6. This is my 3.6, right? I'll mark it. After marking here, you are going to put your thread ruler like this and mark this is where my back neck is. This now is serving as my back neck, right? So the next thing you are going to be doing is you can use 3 inches or 4 inches here. Let's use 3.5, yes, 4 inches will be okay. Then by these 4 inches now we are going to connect it this way. Right? We're going to connect it this way, making sure that it went up like this, slant form like this up, okay? So that after cutting it, if you fold it, they will be equal. But if you do it straight, when you cut and fold it, it will not be equal. Okay? Then the next thing we do right here is to mark our break-even point. Okay? Our break-even point, I want my break-even point to start below the underbust. So I'll be using 15. I'll be using 15. I'll be using 15 as my break-even point. This is my break-even point. Break-even point. So I'll be using 15. Okay? The next thing we are going to do from this now, you are placing your ruler here. Okay? From here, I'm going to mark a straight line to your break-even point. This is your break-even point, right? So right now, after connecting this line and this is your 4 inches, remember I marked 4 inches right here. Mark your 4 inches. Then after that, you are going to extend this line Extend this your line, this your neckline. Extend this to this place. You see, I extended it to this place. Then after that, you are going to, from this line, you are going to come up by 1 inch. Or let me use 0.5, 0.7 inches. I came up by 0.7 inches, right? So now, I can use my straight ruler. I mark up to this 1 inch, up to this 1 inch. Then, this is my 1 inch. This is where I stop. Then you are going to connect this line to this 1 inch. From this your neckline, I mark. If you want to mark your 1 inch, put your tape here. Mark your 1 inch. Then this is where your straight line. That your 1 inch is where your straight line will reach. Then from there, you can now connect from this your neckline. This is where our original neckline reach. Right? This is where our original neckline is. Then from there, you connect it to this 1 inch there, giving you the shape that we want. So this is our blazer. This is our blazer, okay? So we are done drafting this. Remember that you extended your neckline here. From extending your neckline here, you come up by 1 inch or 0.7 here. I use 0.7 here. Then you do your straight line. You can use your curve ruler to make it curvy, but I use straight ruler here. Then you do it, connect it straight to this 1 inch or 0.5 inch. Then from this your neckline again, you connect it this place. This line is coming from your neckline, and this line is coming from your neckline. Then up. So we are done with this reading later. So we extended our back shoulder pattern by 1/2 inch. I'm still going to extend the front just like this. Let's extend the front, and from here I come out by 1 inch and connect it this way using my curve ruler. So I connect it this way. Basically, so if I'm cutting now, this is how I'll cut this particular way. I'm going to see me cut it. Then my shoulder is extended to this place. So this is our blazer. So let's cut it out. Let's cut our blazer out. Don't watch me the way I'm cutting. The allowance I added at the angle is what I'm cutting across me. So listen here. It's out. Then this, we cut this way. We're cutting this way, sorry. Oh. So this is our front pattern, right? This is our front pattern. So we are going to cut this in two pieces. We are going to cut this in two pieces. If you are cutting on the fabric, add half inch to this place, half inch sewing allowance, half inch sewing allowance here, half inch sewing allowance here, half inch sewing allowance here. Also add half inch sewing allowance here. Add half inch sewing allowance here. We've already added our side allowance, so we're not adding allowance here again. But apart from this big hand down, you are adding allowance down here. Don't add allowance here. The armhole, we have added allowance, and the shaping side, we have added allowance, and the down, we have added allowance. So you're adding allowance here, if you are cutting on your fabric, you add half inch allowance just for the sewing. So we are going to cut out our back too. So this is our back pattern. We're cutting out our back pattern. Just the way we drafted it. So our back pattern is ready. Okay? Our back pattern is ready.